Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rosita binti Abdul Kadir from class of INC500. My matrix number is 2020741789. My group members are...
Hi, my name is Nur Karima binti Azmi with matrix number 2020 521671. The next member of this group is...
Assalamualaikum. My name is Amira Sofi binti Zulkifli. My matrix number is 2020595203.
Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. My name is Muhammad Nur bin Muhammad, matric number 2020589049.
We are students of mass communication majoring in interpersonal communication are going to present a study of trade union in an organization. We have selected to interview Kesatuan Kaki Tangan Perkeso to get a better understanding in trade union in the organization. Well, a trade union is a group of people who have already formed together to achieve a shared objective. The most prevalent purpose of these organizations or unions is to keep or improve their members' working conditions. Trade unions have always had a constitution that describes the governance of their bargaining unit, as well as governance at various levels of government, depending on the industry they work in. Trade unions are not legally bound by the constitution.
So now, let us move to our brief literature review for this assignment. Okay, in Malaysia, a trade union is defined as any organization whose membership consists of employees who seek to organize and also represent their interests both at work and in society, and in particular seeks to monitor and control the employer-employee relationship through direct collective bargaining with the management. This is cited from Solomon M. from the write-up of book Industrial Relations, Theory and also Practice. Trade unions advocate for workers' interests and rights on the job. Unions play an important role in collective bargaining and dispute settlement. Several studies, however, show that union density and membership are steadily declining around the globe. This scenario poses a significant challenge to unions in terms of sustaining their role and existence in the industrial relations system. Several factors, including employer opposition, final crisis, foreign direct investment, shifts in terms of employment, and also patterns, the management practices and labor legislation have a greater impact on union membership and union strategies. The Malaysian Trade Union Act 1959 TUA stated that trade union as an association or combinations of workers or employers who work in Peninsular Malaysia, Sarawak or Sabah in any particular similar trade, industry or occupation, whether temporary or permanent, and have one or more of the following objective. The first one is as a representative of employers and also employees in a labour dispute. Second, conducting or resolving trade disputes as well as matters linked to them. And number 3, strike or lockout promotion, organization or financing in any trade or industry or involving the distribution of wages as well as other benefits to the other members during the lockout or industrial strike. So, the following are the specific characteristics as defined under the Trade of Union Act 1959. Number 1 is a union might be an association with employers and employees that is temporary or permanent or combination of both. Second one is a union must be made up of either employers or employees. It cannot be made up of both workers and employers. And third one, a union is limited to Malaya, Sarawak or Sabah and cannot include entire Malaysia. An employer of union is limited to a single establishment trade, industry or occupation. Number 5 is any organization of employees and workers that meets the stated definition is considered as a union regardless of whether it has been officially registered. Employees are entitled to a union for a variety of reasons. According to Maimuna 2007 and Salman 2000, the main reasons on why the employees should join a trade union are the economic rules, rights protection, and also social demands are among the reasons.
In this presentation, we concentrate on how Perkeso's trade union carries out its commitments, its functions, as well as the responsibilities towards its members. union believes that every employee who is able to join the union should do as soon as feasible, since more members means more support for the union. The union's constitution states that only permanent members of Perkeso are eligible to join it. A union's strength and dependability are proportional to the number of members it has. The Complaints and Public Relations Bureau will oversee every complaint, concern, or recommendation for management improvement for the Perkeso Employees Union. It is a good predictor of a union's strength. If an issue at an office only affects employees and top executives without including the interests of all members, the union will convene an appraisal session. There is no blame game, and everyone works together to create a welcoming workplace. The union and management have a good working relationship. Unions operate on the premise that if all employees speak with one voice, their issues are more likely to be heard. This entails union members in the same workplace gathering to discuss shared issues and democratically making collective decisions on workplace matters. The next presentation will be done by my group member, Ms. Nur Karimah binti Azmi, on the importance of trade union.
Moving on, the importance of trade union, which is the subtopic number 4. Trade unions play an essential role in establishing and also developing collective bargaining power between employees and also employers. Workers gain from special benefits and see more significant compensation commensurate with increased productivity when there is a healthy partnership between a powerful trade union and the company. A strong and solid trade union is very important in ensuring that workers' rights are not violated by the employers and serve as a tool for increasing labor productivity. Through collective bargaining, a trade union can play a social role in managing the interactions among its members as well as an economic role in controlling relations between employers and employees, and a position as a protector of members' privileges in grievance processing and the conducting of trade disputes. The primary goal of a trade union is to give service to its members, and this duty has not altered in the least. However, the different restrictions that govern its efficiency limits its role. Needless to say, a trade union is fair for both parties, the employer and employees. In Perkeso, the trade union will aid and helps the management to save their time and expenses by mediating employment issues as well as providing training for wage earners for trade, vocation, or industry-spec continuous professional development. Furthermore, trade unions are also empower employees by providing lobbying assistance for better working conditions with healthy trade practices. So this could in return promote higher productivity and efficiency across the sector. As for the employees, the trade union in Perkeso definitely plays a vital role as a collective venue for the employees of a particular trade, occupation, or industry to express their issues and also problems over their working conditions in their workplace. The union represents its members as in their terms and conditions of service prepared by the management in Perkeso, because there they did not practice collective agreement in their organization. However, they still bargaining with their employers to gain a better and conducive working experience, such as ergonomic chair to prevent back-age and ambient working station. They also represents them in illegal issues along with the employers, such as in cases when an employee is unjustifiably terminated or dismissed, as well as arbitrating the disagreements between employers and workers, thus saving times and costs for both parties as compared to fighting the dispute in court. Last 2016, they have put forward their latest regulations, which all of them have been agreed to be improved and finalized in accordance with Perkeso's terms and conditions of service, and this will be reviewed every 5 years if there is any obsolescence. After the process, Perkeso will send a letter of application to the management for them to review, and there will be a session on management to a higher level board.
So discussion is about the advantages of joining a trade union. So the subtopic is number 3, reasons for joining trade union, and also subtopic number 8, employee welfare and employee welfare schemes. In Malaysia, almost all employers, regardless of the public or private sector, have the option to join a trade union that suits their job. According to a report by a law student through lawteacher.net in 2019, there were 591 trade unions in Malaysia with an estimated total membership of 800,000 people. This shows that the role of trade union has succeeded in attracting many workers to join and benefit from it. The government continues to receive criticism of its old policy on workers' right to organize and freedom of association. Encik Zahid bin Ismail, Secretary of SOXO Trade Unions, said that while workers are encouraged to join unions is based on welfare and employee rights. He said that through existing unions can help improve the economy of workers if the union has a cooperative and also demand a reasonable salary increase. The issue of health and safety of workers is a major factor in the purpose of the existence of trade unions. Workers are motivated to join a trade union for three reasons. First one is economic motivation. Number two, right protection. And the last one is social reasons. Every employee wants to improve their economic situation, and trade unions are one means for employees to attain that goal. The involvement of a significant number of workers will strengthen trade unions' ability to demand and protect workers' rights and interests in the workplace. This is only possible if the members of the group work together well. Employees must join trade unions to avoid discrimination by management or employers, such as favoritism, wage discrimination, or wage imbalances based on race, gender, or other factors. Employees understand trade unions not only because of the influence of friends or certain parties, but also because of their desire to belong. It is possible that joining a trade union is motivated by the desire to please friends or other parties. The employee's decision to join the union was heavily influenced by his co-workers. Encik Zai Hasrul shared some information about the Employee Welfare and Safety Scheme. If a person joins a union and contributes, all monthly contribution of Rm 7 ringgit will be collected for the welfare of each union member. The union will offer souvenirs to family or next of kin as a gesture of CSR, even if they quit or retire. All contribution made will not be repaid because it is deemed solidarity payment. Union officials in the industrial, construction, transportation, mining and engineering sectors must always be concerned about their members' safety and health. The term industrial social welfare, coined by Adrian Sinfield in 1971, refers to any program aimed at promoting or preserving the welfare of workers in Malaysia. Union representatives in the construction industry might advocate for social dialogue with employers to improve work processes. This is despite the high frequency of construction-related accidents as well as the rising number of migrant workers.
So as for my part, for findings and discussion based on the interview conducted, I gathered an information from Perkeso that an industrial dispute is described as a disagreement or conflict between management and employees about employment. But as for Perkeso, the major causes of industrial disputes in their company is typically related to money-wise, such as salary, bonuses, medical aids, as it is also why they work for money. As for which disagreements in Perkeso, it is very uncommon. If there is a wage disagreement, it is still within control. An example of a conflict, they agreed to a deduction from the allowance where a few percent of the allowance is set aside for the COVID fund. Prior to the agreement, The decision was made and its effects were studied. Of course, there are parties who are not satisfied with the cuts, although there are certain reasons why the unions conspired to cut salaries or allowances. It is so that they can prove to the management that this union is not only for their members, but it's also for outsiders, and they are ready to commit and sacrifice at any time. Next, other than that, they will look at the employees' performance to determine the linkage between their wages and their maximum productivities. As example, the salary offer is measured by the workers' ability to retain excellence, and they are usually rated by the upper management. As for Pekeso, they have been mentioned by many, and they are one of the best in the industry. Pekeso has become a go-to agency for various union-related activities, and hence they are taking advantage of this chance to increase the pay of each individuals who have worked hard for the organization's success and improvement, and bonuses are one of them. So they will conduct a research every 5 years based on the cost of living, inflation rate, and medical needs. So if I may add, when it comes to wage demands, there will be a negotiation process. The paper will normally take 5 to 7 months to complete, and it will be presented to the management. There are various reasons of industrial disputes include other benefits such as medical, insurance coverage, as well as employee preparation prior to retirement. In fact, for Pekeso, if someone joins the union, their employees will provide a special briefing to members who are in trouble, as in low net salary, members who are in high debt status, so that they will provide a session for the affected members to look back at what they can do to help them get out of trouble. That is one of the examples from Pekeso. And this process they did is very private and confidential. Only certain EXO members are involved because it involves a big situation and it's a serious matter, so it will not be announced in generally, and they will settle the affected members one by one. As for which demands, which settlements, there's never been a salary reduction in Pekeso. Usually salaries in Pekeso will always increase unless members are subject to disciplinary action. Like for example, given maybe the salary given is in grade 18, but due to disciplinary action they will be downgraded to below one position, so automatically the salary will also be decreased. In Pekeso, they have no requirements unless members did not pay the membership fee for 3 months long, so they will be automatically dropped out, because unions, they care about their union's image. So as for whether the economics causes will affect the right of workers or not, Pekeso is concerned about workers' rights not only from an economic standpoint but also from a humanitarian standpoint. So it does not depend on the economic situations alone. As we know, the current pandemic has had a lot of impacts on companies, but as long as workers' rights need to be defended and preserved, union responsibilities will still be implemented. So if there is a pay shift but it is not implemented by the company, the union will conduct an inquiry into why it was not implemented to defend workers' rights. So it doesn't matter the economic situation as long as the union still exists. So going on to the next subtopic, which is the importance of collective bargaining. Employees are entitled to certain rights. So how to determine? Based on the previously agreed upon collective agreement, right? So, and then second, the employee's rights that the employer has pledged but are not included in the agreement. But in Pekeso, there is no collective bargaining agreement, but they do have a booklet of terms and conditions of service and it was founded in 1992. Percaso has its own set of terms and conditions. For them, employee rights should be supplied by management and employees should comply with management rights according to the booklet. So the process of terms and conditions of service is almost the same as the collective agreement, only before the existence of the bargaining process. The terms and conditions of the company were drafted by the management and they were agreed upon by the employee before they accepted their job position. So the terms and conditions by Percaso have only recently been agreed upon, which is in 2016, and many new proposals have been decided upon to be improved and mentioned in needed to finalize their service terms and conditions. And normally, when they deal, they will receive something in written. By all means, employers, organizations, and management must therefore be viewed from a broad perspective. As for example, in Percaso, maternity leave used to be 60 days, but it has recently been increased to 90 days. Every 5 years, the term and conditions in Percaso will be updated and reviewed by sending a letter of application to management for review, with one session held until both sides will agree. Then it will then be taken to a higher level, presumably the board of directors. So based on the interview, I concluded on the importance of terms and conditions services, that the role of the union in bargaining power is to show whether or not the union is powerful. So if a company recognizes the union, it shows that they understand the value of having a union in their workplace. Based on an example given by Encik Zahasro, at the Percaso Union Committee level, they will notice that even if they know one of their members has made a major mistake and they had been dismissed, they will still try to get a second chance. There's always a second chance to any of it. And if a second chance is granted, they will ensure that the member will follow all of the rules set forth, emphasizing the importance of the union as well as the terms and
Next is the issues on employees' health, which is the subtopic number 9. The effects of COVID-19 pandemic would undoubtedly be felt for decades. Still, there was the post almost immediately after the declaration that a pandemic was underway in the society and also affecting the workers in all areas as they need to sacrifice their health to work. Of course, the workers expected their employers to do all the necessary to protect their health and safety when working during the working hours and overtime because they are in dangerous settings. However, as the pandemic progressed, many employees, especially industrial workers, began to believe that their employers were actually unconcerned about their health and safety, lacked a voice in their workplace, and were unnecessarily overworked, putting their lives in danger. From Encik Zahia's perspective, although industrial workers with trade unions have secured additional pay, health and safety safeguards, and paid sick leave, the company must still respect their employees' rights. He added that many people are forced to labor without personal protective equipment, paid leave, or premium pay since their unions do not exist. Furthermore, when non-union workers lobbied for health and safety safeguards or wage increases, they were frequently penalized against or even fired as a result. Because of a lack of these fundamental safeguards, thousands of critical workers have become infected with the coronavirus, with many of them dying as a result. Not only in COVID-19 settings, but the worker environment also need to be conducive for the employees. So, in Percaso, Encik Zahasro admitted that their workplace had some issues with the systems and their ergonomics chairs. If there are any occurring problems, the unions will carry the matter to a higher board in their organisation, which is the Majlis Bersama Jawatan, MBJ, and Majlis Keharmonian. However, if the case is not resolved, they will still bring out the issue to a higher level, such as the CEOs and chairman and even the Prime Minister. This trade union action committee themselves will ensure that the problem is resolved no matter how long it takes, with or without cause. Therefore, unions should improve their role in providing a relaxed and pleasant work environment by ensuring that the work environment is free from hazards and that all necessary facilities and safety equipment are adequately provided. Management should also assist them by prioritizing workers' demands, particularly for a healthy work environment and improved working conditions. Workers can perform their duties in a peaceful environment, conducive to a better health and also high morale.
Based on the above findings and discussions gathered by my group members, I would like to summarize that trade unions continue to play a vital role in safeguarding workers and assisting them in enforcing their legal rights, especially where those rights are disputed or debatable. Prior to that, employees will be able to turn to unions for aid if they believe that psychological contract between workers and management is being violated, and they will be allowed to help workers renegotiate this contract if required. But unfortunately, based on what Encik Zairul has been giving us about the information of trade unions, usually a post-structuralist understanding of trade unions suggests that they are more attentive to their own social impact with employees than to the actual requirements and demands of the workplace. And this can lead to unnecessarily militant behavior on the side of unions, especially when their own authority and relevance are threatened. Therefore, the establishment of a country's trade unions is vital in terms of improving the well-being among all workers. And as a result of a positive work environment, employees perceive less fatigue, less weariness and tension. And besides that, a better working relationship, better working environment among all workers will increase the rate of turnover. Hence, the unions play a crucial part in providing fair treatment among all workers. So when appropriate law is implemented, trade unions are granted the ability to achieve their aims by employing bargaining rights, procedures, or in this case, for PERCESO, terms and conditions services, which they interact with employers as representatives of all workers. So as a result, the employee-employer disputes, redundancy difficulties, and the adjudication of unjust dismissal issues all have a solid platform to work on, to depend on. The report, on the other hand, advises that trade unions should design new policies and or ideas that members can easily identify with, and they could easily utilize it to teach younger employees about the history and importance of having a trade union in their workplace, as well as the benefits of collective bargaining. Thank you.